G'day there guys, Markee here, back at it again with another episode of r/relationship advice. Now if you love today's video like I love you, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, a like on the video, and enjoy today's bloody good content. Posted by user ThrowRASB, titled, How can I, 20 female, tell my BFF, 20 female, that I'm sleeping with her father, 46 female, and not lose them both? Advice please. So, let me start by saying that I'm not 100% sure how any of this happened. Backstory. When I was a little kid, my POS parents got divorced, and I ended up with my POS mother, and we moved back to her home state, and somehow managed to live with my grandparents who were not POS people. I was thrown into a school with total strangers, and I was given mountains of crap for talking funny, because I was born and raised in the South and was now living in New England. The first person to decide to be nice to me and to be my friend was Kate. Not her real name, of course. Kate quickly became my BFF, and we've been BFFs ever since. Now, because my mum is an awful piece of human garbage, I spent as much time as possible with Kate and her family over the years. Not only was I accepted by them, but eventually I started to look at them as the family I always thought a family should be. By high school, I was calling Don and Joan, Kate's parents, also not real names, Mum and Dad, respectively. They always welcomed me into their home. I always had food, a place to stay, you name it. They even took me with on a couple of family vacations. I love this family with all of my heart. The story takes a turn for the strange in 2018, when, after Kate and I graduated high school, and Don and Joan had no more kids in the house, as they were all on their own or in college, that Joan decided to come out of the closet as a lesbian, admit to an affair that had lasted the entire time they were married, and file for a divorce. I'm sure you can imagine that Don, Kate, her brothers, and well, everybody was devastated. Kate went off to college in California, and neither of her brothers were around, so Don was kind of on his own. Since I wasn't going to further my education and basically stay in town, I promised my BFF to make sure her dad was okay, look in on him often, all that. Well, I tried community college, and that didn't work out, but I got lucky, and my grandma pulled in a favor and got me a job as a teller in one of the local banks. So I was at least somewhat productive in society. I'd call Don and text him a few times to check in on him, but things got crazy last summer. I literally ran into him at the grocery store one afternoon after work. I saw what he was buying, and it made me super sad. It was like all these single bachelor tropes all in one. So, being the good BFF that I am, I insisted that Don buy some actual food, and that I'd go over to his place after work on Friday and make him a home-cooked meal. I've been cooking since I was young. I kind of had to learn, and we both agreed that he needed it. So, Friday came around, and I went over and cooked him a nice chicken parmesan dinner. We had fun visiting for a bit, and I went home feeling good about myself. We agreed to do this every week. The next week, after dinner, he asked if I'd stay for a bit and hang out. So we fired up Xfinity on demand and got cozy on the couch. I don't know exactly what led to this next part to happen, but it happened. Maybe it was the love scene in what we were watching, I don't know. All I know is that he seemed super lonely, and I felt bad for him, so I initiated things and gave him head. When I left that night, things were a little awkward, but we decided to continue our Friday dinner tradition, and the next week, after the movie, he asked if I could stay around a little longer. Well, I ended up staying the night. That was when we first had sex. Friday night dinner became Friday night dinner and sex, and that lasted another 8 or 9 weeks. Then we started being more open about what we were doing. Going out to eat during the week, going to a movie or shopping, all that stuff. Despite a lot of people we know giving us the side-eye for it. All the while, I was keeping everything a secret from Kate, my BFF. Fast forward to COVID and that, combined with my lack of ability to judge friends well, resulted in my roommates bailing on me and leaving me on the hook for our entire apartment. I got lucky in that our landlord let me out of the lease, but that put me in a spot. I was going to have to move back in with my POS mother. I was desperate to avoid that, and then Don stepped in and saved me, kind of. He asked me to move in with him, and I did, and we've been living as a couple ever since. Recently, Don has stopped using a condom when we have sex, and he asked me to quit taking birth control too. He said he wants to marry me and start a family and the whole deal. And now I'm wondering, how the frick do I tell Kate about this? I love Kate on so many levels and I don't want to lose her, but I'm terrified that she'll be mad. I don't know if I can give up Don to keep Kate though. I do know that I'd die a little inside if I stayed with Don, and that ruined his relationship with his daughter though. I know this is a you want your cake and eat it too moment, but what's the point of having the cake if you can't eat the frickin' thing? Please, someone, anyone give me some idea about how to proceed. Please. Bruh, this is mad disgusting. Kate is not going to take this well. Most people would not take their friends fudging their parents well at all. This is a man you called dad. How do we get to the father-daughter type relationship to wanting to screw, marry, and have kids? Your friendship is going to be over. It's all the rage in porn today. I don't know why. Regarding you guys banging and whatnot, to be honest, that didn't bother me if you both enjoy it. But the fact he's wanting to get you pregnant is a big nope. If you're young and you're just having fun and you initiated it, whatever. I'm not much of an ageist. A baby with this man is not something you can just walk away from easily when you realize that if you stay with this man in 20-ish years, you'll be 38, and having to plan on starting to take care of him. Is that really what you want? This is the part that bugs me the most too. I mean, I can sit here and probably figure out what happened and why this happened, but none of that matters. This is the part that matters. You're only 20. You need time to go do things and learn who you really are. There's plenty of time for a baby later. That's one of those things that I think it's important to do. I wish you luck. I hate to say it, but she clearly has daddy issues. I had them too at one point, and was in very deep denial that I had them. But boy, this girl needs a tried and true male figure in her life that won't turn romantic, and she needs therapy. They are both relying on each other as a crutch for things that they're going through. That's the only part I have a big issue with too. I feel like Don is so depressed and lonely that he feels like OP is his only chance at happiness again. Knows that it's a risky relationship to begin with, that OP would walk away from if she knew what was best for her and her friendship, and is trying to trap her into the relationship with a baby. That way, not only would she have to stay, but everyone else would be forced to accept them staying together too, including his daughter. 20 is just way too young to be considering marriage and babies, even if this wasn't a weird relationship to begin with. This is going to destroy Kate. You can find another man. She only has one father. You're so young. You have many years to find someone to settle down with. This seems like an absolute crap show of a relationship. Please stay on birth control. Please don't bring a child into this situation. Update. How can I tell my BFF that I'm sleeping with her father and not lose them both? Hello all. Update time. So, I was awake late into the night after making the post and reading everyone's comments. I appreciate everyone who weighed in with something other than reminding me that I'm a horrible, screwed up piece of crap as a person. I had come to that conclusion on my own, but it was nice to have it verified, so thanks. I gave a lot of thought to the questions posed to me from Hello, I See You 2020, and came to some conclusions. I want to get better. The day after posting, I was visibly bothered by deep thoughts at work, and one of my coworkers was concerned and asked me about what was bothering me. So, I told her the whole story. Together, we looked into if my insurance would cover therapy. It does, and even with COVID making it a video chat only kind of deal, I started yesterday at lunch, Tuesday the 21st. I decided to get the hell out of the situation as well. I moved out of the house this past weekend and into a spare room that one of my coworkers offered for me to use until I can get some money to relocate once the pandemic ends and I can get a transfer to a different branch, hopefully out of state. This is awkward and life just took a crappy turn, but I'm told that getting through this mess that I made will make me a better person in the end. I spent Friday night down at the shore at my grandpa's house so I could be somewhere that I love and feel safe at for the next part. I called Kate. It went like anyone expected. No lies. Worst conversation I've ever had. I told her when it was all said and done that I wasn't expecting her to ever forgive me, as I don't know if I deserve it. She knows that I'm not there anymore, and I'm going to try my hardest to put as much distance as possible between me and her family, ASAP. I ended the call by telling her that I won't be initiating contact anymore. I'm going to give her all the space and time she needs, even if that means I'll never talk to her again. I really do love her more than life itself, and I hope that we can eventually recover, but I doubt we will. This is my own fault, and I'm trying to take accountability here. Thanks for the input, everybody. Something is missing here. How'd it go with her dad? By the way, I wish you good luck in your new life. It will be hard and lonely at first for sure, but at the end, you'll make new friends and gain more respect for yourself. So, hold on. Don wasn't happy with the whole thing and asked if there was anything he could do to change my mind. I haven't seen him or talked to him since I got my stuff out of his house though. I'm kind of afraid to. Well, you did the right thing. He should be able to find someone to have a healthy relationship. Yours was doomed since the beginning, and he was playing the lonely card. There is no excuse for him, and worse, to ask you to stop your birth control. He was not doing it with good intentions, and I think you've escaped in the right time. Don't engage with him. Marriages break all the time, and relationships end, and it's not the end of the world. It was his responsibility to learn how to take care of himself. Facts. I don't see a lot of people holding him accountable as well for his play in this. The whole thing was creepy. He shouldn't have took her on her advances regardless of what he was going through. I could never do that to someone, especially someone I practically raised. How did Kate take it? She thought that I was joking at first. A really sick joke, sure, but a joke just the same. Kate was super hurt and confused by the whole thing. She's really angry with both me and her dad, of course. I understand that. I also understand that if she can find it in her heart to forgive me, she will, but I'm not going to make it difficult on her by trying to force the issue. I'm not initiating contact with her until she reaches out first. You did the right thing in the end. I wish you all the best for the future. You made the grown-up decision. Man, that must have really sucked. Stay strong. Love is complicated. You will come out of this a better person and stronger for it. Did you tell her that you initiated it with her dad? I did. I'm trying for total accountability here. Good for you. You may never get your friendship back, and that's a consequence you may have to face. But you did the right thing. A really difficult thing, and a thing that most people would just keep a secret to save their own butts. You were not a terrible person, you made an awful mistake, had a serious lapse in judgment, but you know what? That just makes you human. Owning up to your mistake and taking accountability, in my eyes, makes you a good person. Admitting your failures is not an easy thing to do. This is going to be a hard, painful lesson, but you'll come out of it stronger and smarter. I'm proud of you for doing the right thing at your own expense. Not many people have that strength. Honestly, as much as I think people are right to call you out on this, I also am really disgusted by Don's role in all of this. He's known you since you were a kid, and he wanted to sleep with / possibly marry you? It makes me wonder how long he's felt that way, and if he was potentially grooming you. I'm glad to hear you're getting therapy, and hope you're able to find peace. Posted by user help12921. Titled, Significant Other, 29 female, is frugal to the point where I, 30 male, can't handle it anymore. I did groceries alone today because she is in tears because I spent $8 more than her budget. We have been dating for around 3 years now, and moved in together a year and a half ago. Back then, she was somewhat of a penny pincher, and always insisted on, instead of eating out, we would buy or make something, which I was okay with because we both love to cook. Lately with COVID, she's gone from bearable to completely and utterly pinching every penny. We both work in tech and we make great money. To give some context, we live in NYC and her monthly budget is less than $600, including rent, utilities, etc. The rest of the money goes somewhere that I am not privy to, which is her finances. However, we both have no real debt at this point. Right now, we live in a tiny, and I mean tiny, bachelor's. Originally, I moved in with her, and we had plans to get a proper apartment when her lease was up, rather than me signing another lease. However, those plans have gone on hold due to COVID and her paranoia about job security. She works for a very stable company. Lately, she has become one of those extreme couponers, even if it's just saving a few dollars here and there. Today, the grocery store was extremely busy, and I didn't want to fiddle with the coupons, etc. that she gave me. So I just said screw it. The result was the cost going about $8 over our weekly budget. I really didn't care at all since I was paying for the groceries. When I got home, she immediately took the receipt and started to get very upset about how I overspent, etc. I said I paid for groceries, and she started to get very upset. I tried this afternoon to sit down with her and ask her to explain why she's being so extremely frugal, and her response is that she isn't sure of the future for her career, and needs to pinch every penny. The thing is, by my math, she has saved up a ton of money. I know she sold her stock options last year for a fairly large amount. I just cannot understand how she considers herself so poor. The other thing that's bothering me is that she didn't grow up in a poor family or anything. Her family is extremely well off from what I've seen. She doesn't seem to want to discuss her financial situation, and I'm struggling to understand where this is coming from. What can I do? Update: I showed her my finances and asked her to share hers because I said her behavior is not healthy. She refused to show me anything. She says she doesn't have any sort of debt and asked me to trust her about it. It doesn't make me feel happy. Sounds like she has some underlying paranoia, anxiety, and control issues. All of this will intensify as you share financial responsibilities, such as a house or kids. Try therapy, but I don't know. You may never be able to compromise if she's so extreme. Do you know how I could bring something like that up? This is 100% a mental health issue, and you can't fix it. She needs professional help. This is akin to hoarding. It's an illness. I agree. My mum raised us thinking we were fudging poor. I mean, eating potatoes every day poor. And we lived in a mansion with marble floors, stairs, and windowsills. I legit didn't realize we were well off until I was like 22. Yeah, had a friend that made big bucks in a low cost of living area in the Midwest. He married an extremely frugal woman from Maine, and he couldn't even buy her flowers without her immediately going to the store to return them and use the money to buy groceries. He couldn't buy anything for fun. They couldn't travel unless there was an emergency reason, it was work-related, or they could drive there and stay with someone. They never ate out, but instead ate like cheap cuts of meat from shady butchers. And she didn't want to spend money fixing up their house, so they did a lot of DIY repairs that were very DIY. There would always be a crap in their toilet too, because to save money, they flushed like once or twice a day. That weirded me out the most. I wanted to befriend her since we were roughly the same age, but she didn't spend money going out for coffee or anything. Just come to my house and smell the crap from my toilet. My friend was so embarrassed, and it was a huge strain on their marriage. Financial incompatibility is a huge stress point in marriage. She needs therapy to get some perspective and recognize truly upsetting situations versus self-created extreme adherence to her expectations. Do you have suggestions for how I can bring this up to her? She acts like what she does is completely normal, and no amount of me pointing out that we make a stupid amount of money combined has seemed to make her more at ease. Honestly, OP, tell her she gets help or the two of you are over. I get you don't want to do that, but this is not going to end well. Besides her anxiety, or whatever it is regarding this, she may be lying as well, since she won't share info about her finances. I mean, I keep reading on Reddit that the husband writes, "My wife lied to me about her debt. She said she had some like 5,000 or 10,000 debt, but after marrying her, he found out she had like 110,000 in debt." No, this doesn't mean your girlfriend has tons of debts, but she's flat out refusing to share info about her finances, and there is a reason. It could be other things, as others have said. I'm not saying she's lying, but just that she might be. There is definitely something going on with her about this, either in her mind or something else. This needs to be resolved. If it isn't, the two of you aren't going to work out. Update: significant other is frugal to the point where I cannot handle it anymore. I did groceries alone today, and she's in tears because I spent $8 more than her budget. I wanted to thank people for giving some good advice. She was hiding a lot from me. She has been bankrolling her parents' way of life. I've only met her parents a few times, and I'm an idiot for not seeing it earlier. Her dad isn't a doctor, he's a dentist, and his practice has not really been affordable for a long time, according to her. So she has basically been giving almost all of her paycheck to her family to cover this deficit. In general, I think her parents are total pieces of crap. Since last time I was there, they were very well off. Big house, multiple cars, etc. She showed me her finances after I gave her an ultimatum that she needed to go to therapy for her penny pinching, or I didn't see this relationship working out. She is more or less completely broke. She has no savings, no nothing. All the money goes to her parents. I told her how wrong this is, and I told her how wrong it is for her to project this unhealthy behavior onto how I spend my own money. I also fully told her that I'm going to move out when her lease is up into an apartment that is suitable for 2 adults constantly working from home, and I told her we can move out together, but I'm not going to be forcing myself to her extremely frugal behavior. Her reasoning behind all this is basically, she has this huge feeling of debt to her parents, and she doesn't need nice things to be happy. I don't really know what's going to happen, but today we ordered fancy delivery food, something we haven't done in ages, and I paid for it without her making a fuss. She has also agreed to see a therapist, but she isn't fully set on at least reducing the fact she is giving basically 90% of her paycheck to her parents. I don't know. I don't really get it, and I probably went about it the wrong way, but it is something. Your partner is being financially abused. Your partner is being abused by her parents. She needs support in coming to terms with what's happening and being independent from them. Yeah, I agree. I just really don't know, aside from getting her to a therapist, how else to help her. She makes a lot of money, and it is completely soul-crushing to see she has nothing saved for her future after working 5+ years. I hope you're able to find a therapist who specializes in financial abuse, not just financial issues. Financial abuse also often falls under domestic abuse categories. So, while it may feel extreme, depending on where you are, family/domestic violence or women's services may be able to provide information and leads. I wish you both good luck in this journey. Let me guess. Her parents are extremely controlling and emotionally manipulative, to the point she feels like it's easier to just hand them all her money than not, because of the crap fit they'll throw otherwise. No adult does this because they actually genuinely want to. I've met her parents, I think a total of 4 times, as they live several states away. My significant other doesn't really visit them very often, and when we did go to visit them, we didn't spend a huge amount of time with them. I initially got the impression that I wasn't good enough in their eyes, but they never really said or did anything. It was very awkward the first time meeting her parents. Posted by user ThrowRANJBJM, titled, "My boyfriend says I need to lose weight, even though I've already lost 30 pounds. I, 22 female, live with my boyfriend 26, who calls me fat, even though I weighed 130 pounds before I started dieting and exercising. Even at 100 pounds, he still insists that I'm not losing enough, and he isn't as attracted to me as he used to be. I'm trying my best to lose weight, but I think losing any more is a bad idea, as I'm very skinny now. It's upsetting when he claims that I'm overweight all of the time, even though I completely cut out junk food from my diet and jog for at least an hour a day. I don't think losing any more is safe for me. How should I expect this to my boyfriend? I guess they're trying to say, how should I say this to him? Edit, I'm 5 foot. Edit 2, I asked out of curiosity how much he wanted me to weigh, and he told me around 70 to 80 pounds. I don't think it's really possible to live at 80 pounds, 5 foot tall. What is that? Isn't that like extreme malnourishment at that point? I read a post a couple of months ago about a girl who was upset because her boyfriend constantly put her down, saying that she smelled really bad. She was showering multiple times a day, using antiperspirant, etc., but he still insisted that she smelled terribly. No one else thought she smelled bad, by the way. Things came to a head, and basically during an argument he admitted that he was very insecure and thought that if he told her she smelled bad, she wouldn't have the self-confidence to leave him and find another boyfriend. From what you're saying, I guess that this is what's going on with your boyfriend. Don't ever put your health at risk over a partner, it's just not worth it. My ex-husband did this to me. He tried everything he could to keep me from exercising, made comments about how horrible I looked when I started losing weight and feeling more confident. He would tell me how ugly I was and set me up to talk about my confidence, only to laugh at me for thinking I was worth anything. He was scared if I had confidence in myself that I would leave. Well, he was right, and now he's my ex and I couldn't be happier. Took me a very long time to realize how toxic he was to my self-esteem. I really don't understand that logic. Who wants a partner that isn't confident in themselves? And who thinks tearing down someone's confidence is an acceptable way to get someone to stay? Maybe instead they should try being the most supportive partner ever, but we know that they are mean because they are incapable of doing so. Glad you escaped that piece of crap. Someone who lacks their total confidence. Took 15 years for me to come to my senses, but now I'm happily married with a partner that is incredibly supportive. We actually met while going for a run. That's amazing, isn't it? When you're with an abuser, you almost don't know that there are better options. It's almost created an issue for me because I refuse to date someone who is anything less than enthusiastically supportive, so I've learned to break it off with someone very easily and early on. Lose 200 pounds by dropping him in the dirt. This is a serious red flag problem. I'd lose 156.3 pounds, then lose that extra 156.3 pounds holding you back. I try not to say this often, but you should probably get out of that relationship. That's incredibly toxic and manipulative. It's also physically dangerous for you. You need someone to build you up and love you, not someone who will make you feel unattractive if you're not a skeleton. Screw him. Yeah, she's also lost quite a lot of weight, and losing any more would definitely be going into the danger zone. Depending on her height, she may also be underweight. I'm 5 foot. Please don't lose any more weight. Your boyfriend sounds abusive to me. So lose the boyfriend and you'll lose all the extra weight you need. I'm 5'2" and I dropped to 75 pounds at one point because I was really sick. I stopped getting my period for a year and literally looked like a skeleton. It was disgusting. It also made it so that afterwards I gain weight super easily. Please don't do this to yourself. Update. My boyfriend says I need to lose weight even though I'm only 100 pounds. For some reason, I can't access my original throwaway account, but I decided that I should still update you guys. I ended up leaving my boyfriend because if I got to 70 to 80 pounds, I would likely die, since I'm already starting to feel really bad from my weight. I'm going to quit my daily jogs for a while and only do it once a week. I've also decided to give up starving myself and eat more than salads so I can gain weight again. Hopefully I can get back to 130 pounds, as that's when I felt healthy. Thanks for all the kind comments on my last post, as it really helped make this decision. Edit. Even at 130 pounds, I wasn't overweight according to my doctor. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something that you didn't know before. If you haven't already, please do feel free to click that like button, as it really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already and you love today's video, please feel free to subscribe. I would love it a lot. Also, big shout out to all my Patreon members and channel subscribers. You guys are all up on the screen right now. I love you. I love your faces. Also, I love seeing you guys all chatting down below in the comments. It brightens my day to see the stories that you guys share and just the kind words you guys always have for my videos, as well as everyone else in the videos. I love you too. But honestly, your ongoing support means the world to me, and I just love it so much that you guys are able to support a career for myself that I invest so much time into. And you guys honestly motivate me to work harder each and every day to put more love into the videos for you guys. If you guys have watched this far in the video and you haven't already subscribed on Patreon or become a channel member, that's cool, you don't have to, but there are links down below. You can donate any amount of money, pledge that any month, cancel whenever. I'm completely cool with it. It's just there for you to support me if you'd like to go the extra mile. And I'll go the extra mile for you guys by putting out new amazing content every single day. With that said, guys, I really hope you have a good day, night, sleep, bath, time at work, whatever you're up to today. This has been Markee. I'll see you in the next amazing video. Bye.